Your Excellency Captain Ibrahim Traoré, I do not write to flatter you, nor to oppose you. I write to you from the depths of a broken memory, a memory that was not lost but was stolen, buried beneath centuries of deception and designed forgetting. I write as a son of Africa, not by accident of birth but by blood soaked into soil, by the silence of ancestors whose tongues were cut out, whose altars were burned, whose gods were renamed and demonized. I write as someone who has seen our people kneel, not because they were born to kneel, but because someone told them God lived across the sea and would only love them if they forgot their names. We are not weak. We were weakened. We are not poor. We were plundered. We are not lost. We were lied to. They came to our lands with scripture in one hand and shackles in the other. They promised us salvation, but delivered us sorrow. They said we were naked, yet they stole the very gold that adorned our kings. They said we had no history, and then spent centuries digging up the ruins of our forgotten empires, putting them in their museums, and calling them theirs. They told us we had no gods, and then built churches where our temples once stood. They said we were inferior, and then studied us like specimens, not to understand us, but to justify our exploitation. And now they come again, this time with money instead of muskets, with aid instead of armies, with mosques and promises, building 200 places of worship, not for the love of our souls, but for the leverage of our minds. They understand now what they understood then, that to truly conquer a people, you must first colonize their faith, their memory, their sense of self. This is not generosity, it is strategy. They do not offer help. They offer control dressed as compassion. They do not feed us because we are hungry. They starve us until we beg for crumbs and then call themselves saviors. They offer scholarships not to educate us, but to reprogram us. They invite our brightest minds to their lands, teach them to despise the soil they came from, and send them back as missionaries of foreign interests. And we, the descendants of warriors and poets, we line up to be erased, smiling as we disappear. But perhaps the greater betrayal is not from the foreigner. No, it is from within. Too many of our leaders have become middlemen of oppression. They wear fine suits stitched in Europe, sign contracts they don't understand, speak in foreign tongues to impress rooms full of people who will never love Africa the way our mothers did. They speak of development while living in colonial mansions. They celebrate independence while begging for permission to breathe. They send their children abroad while their people drink from poisoned wells. They quote the West while silencing the griots of their own land. And when one among them dares to remember, dares to stand, they call him dangerous. But you, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, you have disturbed the script. You said no, not to food, but to dependency. You said no, not to God, but to manipulation through religion. You said no, not to peace, but to the false peace of silence. And in saying no, you did something they fear more than bullets. You remembered. You remembered that Burkina Faso was not born yesterday. You remembered that the ancestors are watching. You remembered that it is better to die with dignity than to live on your knees before those who profit from your humiliation. And because you remembered, they will come for you. They will not do it with bombs, at least not yet. First, they will try to smear your name. They will call you a radical, a warmonger, a dictator. They will fund opposition groups, ignite tribal divisions, manipulate headlines. They will try to isolate you, economically and diplomatically. They will whisper to your generals, tempt your advisors, offer deals coated in gold and poisoned with conditions. They will do what they always do, destroy you while pretending to help you. And they will hope that the people do not see it, but this time we do see it, and this time we are not as asleep as they think. The youth of Africa are awakening, slowly, painfully, but surely. We are beginning to understand that freedom is not a holiday to be celebrated once a year, but a war to be fought every day. We are learning that sovereignty is not handed down, it is taken back. We are realizing that our history does not begin with slavery and colonization. It begins with kings who built cities with mathematics and mapped the stars while Europe was still in darkness. We are remembering Timbuktu. We are remembering Kush. We are remembering that the first God was born in our image, before they repainted him with blue eyes and told us to kneel. And so to you, Mr. President, I say, do not bend. If you must fall, fall forward. If you must be betrayed, let it be by cowards, never by conscience. Your job is not to make the West comfortable. Your job is not to be a partner in your own exploitation. Your job is to break the mirror they built for us, the one that reflects only their vision of who we are. Do not ask to be liked. Ask only to be remembered, not as perfect, but as unbought. To the West, I say this. We see you. We see your games, your smiles hiding daggers, your deals written in invisible ink. We are not your experiment. We are not your market. We are not your mission field. Africa is not a blank slate for your fantasies. Africa is the cradle from which you emerged, and one day, soon, you will have to reckon with what you did. To your mother, to the church, to the mosque, to all those who came preaching heaven while dragging hell behind them. We are not your converts. We are not your stepping stones to spiritual conquest. If your God demands the destruction of ours to be believed, then your God is not worthy of worship. And to every African youth reading this, whether in the slums of Nairobi or the dormitories of Paris, whether in the mines of Congo or the refugee camps of Libya, wake up and remember. Remember that you are the legacy of people who survived chains, who walked through deserts barefoot, who carried the sun in their skin and the universe in their songs. You are not the child of defeat. You are the heir of resistance. The world will not give you freedom. It will give you hashtags. It will give you distractions. It will give you entertainment. But you must take freedom with your own hands, even if those hands are bleeding. Captain Traoré, history is watching. Africa is watching. The dead are watching. May your hands remain clean, your eyes sharp, and your soul unshaken. You were not born to be liked by them. You were born to be remembered by us, yours in fire and in memory, a voice from the rising continent.